Well, Academy manager Michael Hamilton and under-18s manager James Oliver-Pearce, really big day for the academy and the professional ranks as well, with lads signing their pro deals. Michael, talk us through the players and a little bit about them.
Yeah, no, brilliant day. Boys signing their professional contract, and as always, we say to the boys, this is a massive step in your journey, but it is just a step. And whilst it's a massive milestone, there's still so much to do. But today we had David Fisher sign his first professional contract, Isaac Ogundir, Kweku Frimpong, Dylan Adjei-Hersey and Luke Jenkins. So yeah, great day for the academy and great day for the boys.
Yeah, and James, turning to you, you know about them individually. How much hard work has it taken for them to get to this stage?
Yeah, I suppose people don't get to see that. It's not just the last year or them turning professional. It's the journeys up and down the country with families, all the support they've got, and they're the different coaches they've had along their journeys. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people watching this going, I remember when I coached him when he was an under-9, because not all of their journey has been with us, so each part has played a different role in their progression. And yeah, they are all typical Wimbledon players. They really care and they're passionate about their development, and their progression has been really pleasing, and long may that continue.
Talk us through each player and their main standout qualities that really springs to mind.
So David Fisher, in terms of his 1v1s, he's incredibly balanced off of both feet. He's very good at shifting over 5 yards, and his end product is really, really positive. He's not interested in all of the flair. He has that, but he's more interested in the end product. Luke Jenkins he's a man basically. When the ball's up in the air and you need someone to dominate, he is that person. At set pieces is a huge threat, and he's got fantastic desire. He's had a few injury problems over the last year or so, but he hopefully that's coming to the end of it now. We'll see him fit and healthy. Isaac Ogundir, I think people will remember the Burnley and Tottenham performance. I thought he was almost foot perfect for both games, so that's 210 minutes. He was almost foot perfect. He was organised. He had a really young defensive line in both games. He was the senior figure. And to keep players like Dane Scarlett, who have got fantastic futures ahead of them, quiet almost, was incredible. Kweku, very similar. He's a powerhouse in midfield, loves tackling, very strong. Again, incredibly passionate about his football. And Dylan, as people know, when he can make things happen. As Robbo said in the past, he gets it. You expect a bit of a firework from him.
Yeah, so that's all the lads. And back to you, Michael, at Plough Lane. You showed the families around here, and you told the lads coming through all about the stories and sold the dream about Plough Lane. What does it mean to be here and to give them that push?
Yeah, no, it's great. For some of the guys, it's their first time here. For some of them, they've played a few times. So Kweku, as an example, has played here three or four times. But no, now it all starts becoming real. You know, since from when they enter the academy, we talk about player lane, we talk about going back home, we talk about representing the badge. So this is just the next step, and you know, hopefully, the next 18, 24 months, we'll start seeing boys transition from where they are in their development into the first team and stake a claim to being regulars. But just going back to what James said, I think it's so important that we look at the journeys of each boys and the people behind the scenes that have played a massive part in the boys being here. So as an example, Luke Jenkins, part of his season last season, he was injured. So, you know, you've got Jenna Richards, you've got Liam Connor, and you've got other support staff who have played their part in Luke being where he is now. Kweku Frimpong came through to us late, and Ben Foshahini, who's our academy head of talent ID. He plays a massive part in getting the boys into the programme and identifying, you know, local talent. And then once they come into the academy, it's the coach's job to make sure we try and maximise their potential. Isaac Ogundir, like James said, you know, the biggest comment I can say is our performance against Tottenham was probably the best academy defensive performance from a unit and from an individual perspective that I've seen. You know, the boys were brilliant, and that's down to Jack and James who put together a brilliant game plan, but it's down to the boys who have implemented it. Dylan, every time he leaves the pitch, you leave the pitch thinking, you know what, he's done something, you know, whether it's an assist, whether he's created, whether he's scored, and he's someone who would definitely get the fans up on their feet. Dav Fisher, Justin came in last season, saw Dav in training, and, you know, was trying to get him into the first team and didn't quite understand that, you know, he couldn't play at the time. But no, give him a chance, give him half a chance in the box, and he'll make something happen. So it's really exciting. And like I said, it's a small step in their journey. You know, it's a small step in terms of what we hope they achieve. But there's no doubt in my mind, hopefully in the next 18-24 months' time, you know, the Wimbledon fans will start recognising these boys.
On that subject, James, a lot of fans on social media were so impressed with the FAU Cup performance against Spurs, and they would have loved to have been spectators and watching that game. But is that the blueprint that they've got to push on and keep putting that graft in these players? That's got to continue, hasn't it?
Yeah, I said in the build-up to it, we have to remember our history. We can't be afraid of anyone, and that's been instilled in every age group in the academy for many years now, and hopefully that was something that the fans recognised and that the club appreciated on that night. But that's the case every time they step out, whether we're playing a coaching company, whether we're playing a team at the same level, or we're playing one of the biggest clubs in the country. We expect certain levels of behaviours from the players, certain performance attributes, and if we see that, then we know we're heading in the right direction, because ultimately if they get through to Robbo and the rest of the staff in the first team, there needs to be certain foundations laid so that they can continue their development. The development doesn't stop, but they want to see certain traits in there that they know that they can work with.
Michael, just finally, obviously there was an announcement earlier this week about the changes in coaching staff. Real academy feel, you know, young coaches coming through. Is there a real good feel-good factor now about the training grounds and the opportunities people are getting?
Yeah, massively. We talk about the pathway for the players, but it's also important you have a pathway for your talented staff members. So what happened earlier this season with, you know, obviously Robbo stepping up and taking a few academy staff members, it's allowed other opportunities. So no, it's great. So just to be a bit of context, obviously James is the under-18s head coach now. We've got Jack Matthews, who was previously our lead foundation phase coach. He'll be stepping up to take James's old role as lead youth phase coach, but he'll also be in charge of the young pros individual development. So we'll be looking at the specifics of which they need and working with the staff to make sure their program is aligned to what they need. Myself, I left the training ground on Monday, and I had my phone and people were saying congratulations. I thought someone was winding me up, but then obviously I saw Robbo's article, so I don't really see it as a new role, but part of my new responsibilities is looking after the loans program for the young boys and making sure the transition from academy football into senior football is looked after. So all the boys that have just signed their contract, you know, they'll be going back out on loan in the next couple of weeks, and that'll just be to make sure the challenge point in terms of their games program is where it needs to be, just to smooth over the transition from them going from youth football to senior football. You know, we've seen it in the past with Ayub and Rudy, how important that is. So yeah, that'll be the same with these boys. And yeah, it will allow other people within the academy setup to also step up. You know, we've got a bit of recruitment to do, but the next couple months look really exciting. And you know, it's been a long, hard year. You know, it felt like last season dragged a little bit, but it's really exciting because, you know, we've been very fortunate football's been allowed to go on. And yeah, we're really excited for the new season.
Thanks for your time, Michael and James.